So this is my experience so far using wood chip mulch. There's basically 6 inches of wood chips here. Move these weeds away. See the wood chips a little bit better. And yeah, I laid these wood chips down nice and thick, thinking that as long as I had a thick enough layer of wood chips, that would suppress the weeds. And it did to some extent, but it was not enough to have a permanent weed barrier. And basically, a bunch of weeds grew through, and it looks almost no different here than it would have if I didn't have wood chips. So I was disappointed by that, but I did have a better experience elsewhere, which I'll show you now. So this is the grape area that I showed in another video. And here in this grape area, what I did is I put down a nice thick layer of cardboard. And by including that cardboard together with a nice thick layer of mulch, the weeds have been almost non-existent. This is about as bad as it's been weed-wise in this bed pretty much all summer. And I come by periodically and pull out a couple little spindly weeds like this every couple of months, really. And so I find it remarkable how well this cardboard layer has helped to suppress the weeds, where a straight wood chip layer wouldn't have done nearly as well. And so I'm quite excited by how easy it was to keep this bed weed free with that cardboard layer. So ultimately, of course, that cardboard's going to break down. It's not going to be permanent, but I think I can just lay another layer of cardboard down, put another layer of wood chips on top of it, and that'll just continually add organic matter to the soil over time. And it should serve as a nice long-term weed suppression. And so I've started using this in other areas of the farm as well. So in this area, you'll notice that there's a pretty clear delineation between the wood chips on the one hand versus this lawn on the other hand. And the cardboard stops pretty much right where that barrier is. And so the cardboard, again, has done a great job at preventing weed growth. And it's not perfect. This layer of cardboard that I laid down is a lot less thick than the other layer of cardboard that I laid down, so there's more gaps where weeds can get through. And so there has been a little bit more hand weeding in this area, but I have no shortage of cardboard, so I can get pretty much as much cardboard as I need. And so I'll be able to lay down a thicker layer of cardboard. And once I do that, I'll get an even more weed-free bed here. And I haven't had to weed this very much, so this I've weeded pretty much with the same frequency as the grape bed. And so you can see with pretty minimal weeding, I've kept this area almost weed-free. It's a really, really nice, clean bed that I've been able to maintain. Like I said, there are some gaps, right? So here's a gap in the cardboard, and so we've got some weeds coming through it. And so that's obviously going to have to be fixed in the coming months, I guess. But like I said, I don't pay that much attention to the bed, and I just come out periodically and just pull a couple of weeds here and there, and then we're back to a nice clean bed. Just like I said, the cardboard here stops right around where that grass line is, and so the cardboard has done a great job at keeping a nice clean edge around the lawn relative to the garden bed. One thing I've struggled with has been covering up the weeds nearby the trees. So here, I obviously can't put cardboard way up here, and so there are awkward spots like this where I don't see cardboard as a good option. And so I do have a good amount of grass growing around the trees. But again, that's something that if you come in every couple of months and pull it out, that will clean it up, first of all, and second of all, it'll begin to reduce that pressure over time, so that over time, it's kind of embedded in this nice clean bed. Over time, if you can exhaust those root rhizomes of their energy, then these weeds will just stop being a problem slowly over time as the roots run out of energy. And this is the up and coming mushroom area. So what I've done here is I laid down a whole bunch of mulch here. This is old spent hay and manure and stuff like that I don't want to use for compost for a variety of reasons. So this is a nice thick layer, probably about 6 inches of manure and spent hay. And then on top of that, I'm layering a nice thick layer of cardboard. And then on top of that, I'm putting wood chips. So this is triply insulated against weeds. And the idea there is that I'm going to have these IBCs, these half IBCs that I'm using to grow out mushrooms. And I want to make sure that I don't have weeds coming up in between here, because that'll make it really hard, really awkward to work around. And also it'll get a bunch of weed seeds in the bed. And just, I tried doing this out in the field and I had so many weeds, it was basically unworkable. So when I designed this little area out here, I wanted it to be 100% weed free. And so this is a nice way of doing that. Like I said, 3 different weed suppression techniques, using that nice thick mulch together with the cardboard mulch, together with the wood chip mulch on top of that. And so I expect this to be pretty much permanently weed free, at least for a year. And then after that, I can reapply mulch, pull up any stray weeds that are in here, and just a little bit of maintenance here and there to keep it going. And hopefully this will be, clean in perpetuity.